Welcome to the Movement PT Coffee Cast, where we sit down and talk about physical therapy, health, and whatever else comes to mind during our coffee-infused conversations. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Movement PT Coffee Cast. My name's Dalton, and I'm coming back at you again this week with another EspressoCast. Before I get into the topic for today, I just wanted to give a big shout out to you guys, the listeners, for the constant support. Again, just seeing the week-to-week downloads of the episodes, getting feedback from you guys in the DM, seeing that people are, messaging us and talking about the topics that we have, whether it be the interviews or the EspressoCast. It's just awesome, and we love it, and we hope that you guys continue to do that, as well as reach out to us. I'd really like to know how you guys like the EspressoCast format. It's shorter. It's not really an interview, but it's a quick, thought or conversation maybe between me and Will. So let us know. And guys, as always, if you can, head over to iTunes and subscribe to the podcast. Leave us a rating, leave us a review, and share this episode or whatever episode that you guys have listened to and enjoyed with one other person. It really helps our podcast grow, and we would really appreciate that, guys. So, for today, I wanted to share a little bit of a scenario that went down the past week in clinic. So it'll be more of like a clinic situation. I thought it would be kind of interesting to talk about and maybe get some feedback from you guys or see what you think. But basically the situation was I was doing an initial eval on someone who came in. They had bilateral plantar fascia. They'd been off work since December. They were about 4 weeks away from running out on their unemployment, super stressed out, been bounced around from healthcare professional to healthcare professional, and now they're sitting in front of me and hoping that I was basically the last resort. And the situation went like this. They told me their story. They had a job that required them to be on their feet a lot, had irritation of the plantar fascia. Went to the doctor took a look at it, gave x-rays, saw that they had bone spurs, referred them for orthotics. They went through 4 pairs of orthotics that made them worse every single time. Then they were sent to get acupuncture, didn't work. They were sent to get laser therapy, didn't work. Sent to get shockwave therapy, didn't work. And they were even referred to get to a surgeon to get plantar fasciitis surgery, and the surgeon was like, yeah, we don't really do that. So this person has been bounced around and told many different things, and you could literally see the frustration on her face. I remember multiple times throughout the eval, her literally grabbing her hair, being like, I don't know what to do anymore. I've been told one thing from one person and one thing from this person, and buy these braces and buy these socks and don't walk on your bare foot ever again. Just different things coming from so many different directions, and I could just tell that this lady was just ready. She was just so frustrated with everything, and she really wanted to get back to work. She really valued her job. She missed it. She needed it obviously for other financial reasons, so it was just a lot going on, and it made me think what I tried to do was just have her tell me her story. I just sat there and listened, and it was that time that I really realized how important it was to actually just listen and let her talk about all of that. She got it all out, put it all on the table. So not only was it important for me because I got some ideas of where she was at, but it was also important for her because she, it was almost like she could just let it all out and rant. And so it just kind of reminded me that that's why we push the importance of listening to somebody and letting them talk, because it's valuable from both ends. And then it got me into thinking again, why we need to be so mindful as healthcare professionals, to be careful or just mindful of what we say to people. We can't just be, spewing out things, that might not be the best option for them. Like just like, like just saying like, oh, like you have plantar fasciitis, so like you can't go barefoot for the rest of your life. Meanwhile, if you would have listened for like half a second to this lady, she absolutely loved being bare feet. That was like one of her things, like the first thing she told me. And it's just like, you're gonna sit here and say you can never go barefoot again to somebody who extremely values being barefoot. You know what I mean? So like, we have to, I think, and I'm not perfect, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, I'm just saying I think it's something that we need to be careful of and mindful of, like what we're saying to people. Like, people take a lot of that stuff to heart, even if that's not what you meant, or even if it wasn't directly stated that way to her for whatever reason that was communicated to her, and she was extremely frustrated about it. It put me in a little bit of a tough spot, because she came to me and she's like, what do I do? I've done all of this. I've spent money. I've gone through 4 pairs of orthotics. I've done everything. I've been told this by multiple people, and I'm still in the same spot, and I still need to get back to work. What do I do? And for me, the first thing I did was I tried to ask her like what she thought of the treatment that she tried in the past. Like, what did all of those things that she's tried, have in common with one another? And what I was trying to get at, and we eventually kind of came to this conclusion together, was the idea that all of those treatments were passive. Shockwave, acupuncture, laser, wearing a brace, like all of those things were passive. She never was really given any active rehab. I think she did say she was given a couple different stretches for the plantar fascia, but no loading. And based off what we know now and what we're realizing is like gradual progressive loading, of the plantar fascia in a safe way and in a progressive manner is a great way to help somebody get back to what they're doing. And not once was that a conversation that was had with her. So I tried to kind of get her to see like, hey, this is what I was doing in the past. This is what they all had related to it. It didn't really seem to help at all. We're still in that spot where she needs to get back to work. And I'm just like, what do you think about trying a more active approach that's going to require you to load that area, get stronger, and get more exposed to even being a bit barefoot, and she realized that was what she was doing before, more passive, and that, she's willing to try anything at this point because she's tried a lot of things. So she was like, yes, I think that it'd be a great idea to try an active approach. And I kind of then went into a little bit more of an explanation as to why and how we were going to do it, and why it was relevant to her getting back to work, where she needed to be on her feet for 7 to 8 hours a day. So that was kind of my next point, is like, it's so important to relate it to that person's goals. Like, that is always my number one thing that I try to do in the first session, is like, how can I at least relate one exercise, one activity modification, whatever it is, how can I relate that to their goals? And so we had a conversation about that, and I was, basically saying like, if you need to be on your feet for 10 hours or whatever it was, like, does it make sense that we need to get you strong? We need to get you tolerating being on your feet, all of these different things. And we related it to her goals, and she was 100% on board. And then the next thing I did was just simplified it for her. This lady literally came in with a bag that had 4 pairs of orthotics, had these stockinettes, had braces, had everything you could imagine, and she had a sheet of like 5 or 6 different stretches that she was given by different people. And I'm like, listen, let's do this. I asked her if like, you're okay with this thought, if you're okay with going, like, let's just start from the basics. And I literally said, is there any exercise that you're doing right now that you find helps? And she's like, yeah, this calf stretch. And I'm like, all right, keep the calf stretch. Everything else, we're gonna put that on hold, and we're gonna try this new approach. And I literally just gave her one exercise, which was some calf raises in a tolerable range that was, very minimal pain and discomfort and was easy for her to do, and she was on board, and I left her with just that. And she seemed, at the end of the session, she seemed more relieved. I always ask people, like, how are you feeling now? What are your thoughts? Is there anything else that you want me to address? And she was just very thankful for the fact that, like, I took the time to try to understand where she was coming from, and tried to make everything relatable to getting her back to work is what she really, really wants to get back to doing. So that was super important. And again, like, the more that I see people and get experience as a clinician, I start to realize how powerful these things are. And I just want to continue to put this message out and share it with people, because if one other person, whether it be whoever it is, like, listens and tries to implement this approach in their next eval, and they see the power of it, and then that just kind of compounds into like people just starting to realize why this framework of a holistic approach, a biopsychosocial framework, why it is so important for us to adopt it as physiotherapists, as a healthcare profession. And it's just something that we need to do, and I'm gonna continue to do my best to push that. And by no means am I perfect at all. Like, I struggle every day. I'm literally haven't even been a physio for a year, so but I do know one thing is that listening to someone, relating it to their goals, keeping it simple to start, and even as you progress through, always keeping it simple and relating it to their goals, and doing that in a biopsychosocial framework that's taking into consideration, like the biomechanics, the tissue tolerance, there's stressors in their life, like all of those different things. It's just so important. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. It was just a little story. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like the idea of sharing, like, some clinical scenarios that went down. And let me know if you guys would have done anything different, or anything I could have added into the eval. This is something that is a learning experience for me. And if you guys have any thoughts, like, let me know. So that's all we got for today, guys. If you enjoyed that episode, like I said earlier in the show, please head over to iTunes, subscribe, drop us a review, share this episode. We really appreciate it. Follow us on social. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at the MVMT PTs. And if you don't want to reach out to us there, you can send us an email at themovementpts@gmail.com. Guys, we appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. We want to continue to connect with you guys. We hope all is well. I'll talk to you later. Peace.